Presented on this program are solely those of the host and do not necessarily represent those of the owners, management, staff, advertisers, or sponsors of this radio station. It is not our intent to make any defamatory statements or infringe upon the rights of any human being. Any such communication is contrary to our core values and beliefs as hosts of Heartbeat.
Oh boy.
Hey, you got to dance like there's nobody watching, love like you've never been hurt. You got to sing like there's nobody listening and live like it's heaven on earth. Good morning, world. I'm Dr. J.L. Godbolt.
I'm Dr. Ron Godbolt.
And I'm Tony Billingslea.
And this is Heartbeat Flight 2026, where we still believe the truth is the truth if no one believes it, and a lie is still a lie even if everyone believes it. It's a great day in the village, and I'm glad to be back with you. I was doing some great things, enjoying myself with my son who got hooded. Not the hood, but he got hooded.
That means he joined the hood, right?
He joined the hood, the hooded group. Dr. J. Royville Godbolt. So congratulations to you, man. And we are saying hello to all of our friends out there who are following us all the way from Laurinburg, North Carolina, WEWO. 1460 AM, 92.5 FM, and WAGR, our friends in Lumberton, 1340 AM and 97.1 FM as well. And then all the way from the metropolitan city of Red Springs, North Carolina, WIDU, 1160 AM and 98.5 FM. And, of course, the flagship, we're right here in Fayetteville, North Carolina, WIDU, 1600 AM and 99.7 FM. So good to be with you, and those who are following us on Facebook and YouTube. How about that? We got them all over the place now. I'd like to say hello to all of you. Appreciate you joining us. If you're celebrating a birthday, happy birthday to you, and anniversary as well. If you got married, I know some folk right now got two getting ready to get married. So
all right.
I'm excited about that too. All right. But we got some news about Grief Share to share with you as well.
Yeah, Grief Share is in progress at One Church Covenant Fellowship, 918 Person Street, every Wednesday from 10 to 11:30. You can drop in, check it out. If you have questions, call the church at 910-323-8889. Sister Angela Caraway Williams will get that message and call you back, give you all the information you need about Grief Share.
www.griefshare.org, and again, or www.griefshare.onethechurch@gmail.com if you want to use the email situation. Hey, today we've got 3 topics we want to delve into, and we got the break for the news, and we've got some Did You Know and health tips, all of that coming at you. Today we want to look at America's history of dealing with immigrants, and as well as, just dealing with immigrants. We'll talk about the rest later. And of course, we got to have a couple of topics. So next one's going to be people who experience a near-death experience and their story about how it turned out, and some of the things you'll be surprised to find out that some people, it was not what you thought it would be. And of course, we're going to talk about another storm that's coming our way tomorrow, starting tonight really, but not as bad for us locally here in the middle of the state versus those who are going to be on the outlying areas of the state. Okay, so with that being said, let's get started, gents. Now, I pulled up something from the Library of Congress so I could begin this thing pretty cleanly so people will know we're not out here just shooting off the cuff and making some noise, but we're really doing some legitimate research and finding information that comes from places that are not just controlled by one area of the news or dominated by some source or the other. But the Library of Congress said others, when we talk about people coming into America, during nearly 12 million immigrants came into the United States between 1870 and 1900. And during that period, they were coming from England, Germany, and Ireland, basically where they were coming from. Now, when the Chinese immigrants started coming in because of the California gold rush between 1849 and 1882, the federal government started doing things called stop the immigration. So we start to see here that as long as it looked a certain way, it was okay. But once it started changing a little bit as far as the color, and of course we see the story here.
You know, it's amazing that we live in a nation that was considered a melting pot, that the indigenous people were Native Americans, what we call Indians, and they were already here. And then the Europeans and the Spanish decided they wanted to colonize a place that was already occupied by people. As you were saying, America started to exclude certain individuals throughout its history because of ethnicity and color. The Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882 was probably the first piece of legislation that was passed to exclude citizens from coming to America simply because they were of a different racial background.
When we look at the history, and Dr. Ryan, please jump in here as well. When we look at the history, it's obvious that it works well as long as you're working with us and doing what we want you to do. There's no problem. But once you begin to gain traction and start to change the forefront or even the political scenes, it became an issue for.
You know, it almost reminds you of children of Israel in Egypt. You know, they were under bondage by the Egyptians, but because God was blessing them and because they were, increasing, the Egyptians became, kind of fearful of them. So we got to do something to shut these people down because they getting, they're having babies in the morning and in the field in the evening, getting their work done, and that's kind of what you kind of see with immigrants sometimes. They God blessing them and they getting their lives together, and other folk get jealous, like, you're all right when you don't have nothing and just holding your hand out waiting on us to give you something. But when you start making it on your own, then, we get kind of fearful.
Yeah. As Dr. GODBOLT, John was saying, America starts to do things simply to give an advantage to one particular group of citizens, and it looks like it was the European citizens that they were trying to give the advantage to. In 1942, there was a program called a Vaquero program, where the United States actually recruited Mexican citizens to come to America to work in agriculture because of the war. Most of our people were working either in industry,
correct,
or going to things. So they instituted an executive order that even stripped Japanese Americans of their rights in 1942. People who were born here in America. Yeah. Isn't that amazing?
It is, and again, as you notice, as long as the Mexicans who were coming in did what was they wanted to do, worked in the fields, but as they started growing and become a group who says, let's be involved in education, the government, political scenes.
Yeah.
Once they started making traction in those areas, same with anybody. As long as it's called white fragility, the term is, and not supremacy or supremacy. So when you think about fragility, meaning I need you to need me to do what I want to get done. That's and right. Once we're not supreme, we're just needful. And if you don't if you now start to do something other than that, then I don't need you here.
Yeah, this Vaquero program actually brought in about 4 million laborers or Mexicans to work in the field of agriculture. And then 10 years later, they wanted to reduce the number. So as many as 1.3 million people of Mexican descent were removed from our nation when they were asked to come here to work.
So let's take it back even to the indigenous people, how they were treated. I was in my friend and my wife, we took a vacation up in the Pennsylvania area, went into a park that was designed as a memorial to the indigenous people and what happened to them. So you can read these different plaques. That's when I learned that scalping was not an Indian, Native American thing. It was what the whites did. The government paid hunters to go out and kill Native Americans.
Indigenous people,
And so by doing so, they didn't bring the body back. All they had to do was bring back the scalp. And they got paid for every Native American that they killed. And so you're there watching these kinds of things, looking at this and thinking, wait a minute, how they were treated. And Dr. Ron, you mentioned this often in history because it did write up in the books that the Trail of Tears was actually a place that they were sent off to the Dakotas in that area, but they were given blankets that had put smallpox in. The government put smallpox in the blankets, sent them in the wintertime, and so they were dying even before they got there. They were just. But this is the kind of things we're talking about when you say a history that's so blatantly unfair and disruptive and life-threatening and killing people.
Yeah.
That you see, I get it, for what the Egyptians did to the Israelites. And because, again, in the beginning, Joseph was the one who was there to help them. Pharaoh got a dream interpreted, people got protected and lived happy. But because the numbers started getting bigger, it becomes another story.
And like you said, in that Trail of Tears, the history says that not a family didn't lose a loved one on that trip. Everybody lost somebody in their family as a result of this, and of course the conditions. And here they were, first ones here, of course, by the water so they can fish and live. So we're going to take them away from that and send them, put them out in the middle of the desert, the Oklahoma dry lands, and say we're going to protect you so nobody else can't bother you.
Yeah, and this was an act of law. It was in the Indian Removal Act of 1830 under presidency of Andrew Jackson. Removed all these people from land that they had occupied for centuries.
Yes.
We need to get closer to the mic there, bro. So as you're talking about that, it's, again, the need to use you, then when you become organized or you become we don't need you anymore, then we'll come up with a way to get rid of you. And these acts, by being passed by government, is what we hide behind. It's people who make up these laws, and we call it government because we establish some legal system that other people have to follow, but not them. Every time we look at these laws, they were created to stop everybody else, not them. And that's the history. I want to fast forward to something, and then we'll come back to this because this hour's going to run fast again. I know this. But in 1967, there was a commission that Lyndon Baines Johnson asked whenever they saw the riots. You remember the riots back in the Watts in those areas. And he was, instead of saying, let's stop these folk from doing this, he brought a commission called the Kerner's Commission. He brought some people together and asked them, find out why are these African Americans, why are these people having such riots? What's going on that's bringing this to pass? Well, here's what they came back with. The conclusion is that they investigated the unrest, and they came up with a solution called the Commission in 1968. They reported that white racism, systemic segregation, and economic inequalities were driving the nation toward two separate, unequal societies. This was written up in 1968. Now, when you follow it, and I walk through this thing, it's unbelievable. They gave the president and all of them all the issues that would happen. Two societies, one black, one white, separate and unequal. When they finished with all the information, They did absolutely nothing with it. They did nothing with it. They said one of the reasons that Lyndon Johnson was afraid to say anything about it, he said, America has never will reject this because we can't pass a vote on this. We can't get the impact that we need. It's going to hurt us, our position in politics, if we do something about this. Because we've got to keep this thing clean as we possibly can as white. So America has never truly dealt with what we call inhumane treatment to both blacks and slaves, indigenous people, and people of color in general.
Yeah.
Never.
You know, and we just celebrate Martin Luther King. And I remember my professor in college said this, and it makes more sense to me. He said Martin Luther King, when he was just fighting for blacks' rights, the government wasn't threatened by that because they know they could cut the laws down, and you know, and there was enough other people that would vote against it. But when he started bringing in the poor people, the campaign for the poor, those being mistreated, and then the women started saying, yeah, we need some rights too. That's when the government got nervous about him. And he said that's why he lost his life. Because you think about it, if they want to get rid of Martin Luther King, they could have got rid of him a long time ago. Sure. I mean, he talks about one night they picked him up and he was in this back of this truck by himself going down this dark road, and he didn't know what was going to happen. They could have threw him off that then and killed him.
Sure.
Yeah. But he started bringing in everybody and what wasn't being right about America, and the promise they made to everyone, and that's when people start getting nervous.
Yeah, and then he had nerve enough to bring into question the Vietnam War, where many Americans, citizens of Caucasian persuasion, were profiting economically from the war. They were getting rich.
And of course, in the front of that war was in the front, leading the charge, or what I wouldn't call leading the charge, but lives being lost were our boys, African American people of color, were the ones who were being sent back home in body bags. Yeah. So yeah, the issue here is, and we're gonna have to break shortly, but the issue here again is dealing with it. We see all the issues, and I've got this book called Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome by Dr. Joy DeGury. And I couldn't believe it when I listened to her on YouTube. I said, I got to get this book, because she's breaking down all of the pieces that how America has dealt with people not fairly in any instance, and I hate using the word America because it is a system that we're dealing with that won't allow people to become growing or becoming fair, for it to be fair. And as she talked about it, I started looking at what happened with the people that I feel like who can make the biggest change is the white evangelicals. If they would come forward and start to say, okay, we're going to have to carry this cross the rest of the way. We're going to have to make it possible to understand that the narrative is our responsibility. And I learned there was what I call 10 words, I think it's 9 words. I was wrong. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. That's how you get started. Okay? And someone's got to admit to the fact that we were wrong. And a good apology starts with that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And we need to be careful, as Dr. Ron always says, we need to remember our history. We get distracted with the deception of things going on. You know, now we're focused on one area of the nation in the central portion of the country, Minneapolis, with ICE agents, and that's distracting us from the real issues that are going on. When we are building, we call them detention centers, but if you look at history, they could be considered concentration camps all over America to house people who disagree with the current regimes.
And that is loyalty to a person and not to the Constitution of the United States.
Right.
And that's where we start to see it break down. Listen, we'd love to hear from you. We didn't give you the telephone number, but it's never changed. It's still 910-483-6111. So Dr. Carl E. Brinkley Jr. is pushing the button. So if you call, we'll get the message that you're online, okay? But as we talk about these things, when we stand up against a narrative to change it, it starts in pulpits and podiums that it's going to be changed, because that's where you start to get people attention. If you're standing behind a pulpit or a podium, you're the one with the power to start changing things, and that's where it has to be. And then, of course, you can't have this one kind of conversation in front room and a different negative connotation and conversation in the back rooms, on the golf course, in the board meetings, in the private sector of your life, and kitchen tables. We have to be able to talk about it.
Yeah. And as you said, our evangelical brothers need to stand up and stand up for what is right. I look at the proliferation of Caucasian females who are being placed in strategic positions in our government. Let's say between the ages of 35 and 60 something, and they have a significant influence on policy making decisions, and the majority of them are highly ultra conservative.
That's that is by design.
Yeah.
So if we consider not to sympathize, that to me that would be the wrong way to start solving this issue we're dealing with. A lot of folk would say either I sympathize with you, or as she was saying in the book, someone says I don't think it was that bad. Slavery wasn't that bad. There were some people who were treated really nice, and I'm thinking, where did you fall and bump your head to think that they were in the house? And as a matter of fact, I went to one of those situations where one was saying that. My wife and I were touring an area, and they showed us the house where they were staying, and of course the little bed at the bottom foot of the bed was where this slave girl had to stay to take care of the daughter of the master of the house. And a white female behind me said, "Well, that was nice. She had a nice place to stay." And before I knew it, I was saying, would you want somebody to take your freedom so you can sleep on some bed? Would you take that and think that's? But in her mind, this was good, and when I thought about it, there's a large population of people who have no idea what slavery was. They're so far away from it, and they're not being moved by what's going on now because they have not been affected by it.
Wow.
And then slavery crossed so many different social lines. It crossed economic lines, it crossed racial lines, and it crossed social interaction lines, because the people who were enslaved were considered chattel. They were property.
Oh yeah.
They could be bought, sold, thrown away, whatever.
And one of the articles she wrote about was during that period of slavery in America, there were something like, I want to say 600,000 children born from slave masters with the slaves. 600,000.
That's what was identified.
Yeah, identified.
Now we know some were in the woodpile.
Come on,
that we don't know about.
So when you start thinking about the women who were, and then there was articles that we got to take a break, but even doctors who experimented on children, saying that black people can handle more pain than whites, and so they'd use instruments that a shoemaker would use to cut leather and make shoes in the body parts of women, children and women, just because they say they could handle, black people can handle pain. And then when they died, they said, okay, now it's a good benefit to us. Now we can experiment with the bodies. They even tried to take the skull, because they said the way their brains were made, that African Americans are not as smart. And so this is a kind of brutality that we've come up through with over hundreds of years. And yet, when you ask people, do you understand what African American really had to go through to even to survive, let alone thrive? Do you understand? They're so far removed from it. They can't even. They don't emphasize the need. They sympathize, if at all.
Yeah.
Did we have a caller? Yes. Okay. Let's go and take the call, and we'll take that break, I think. Yeah. Welcome. You're on Heartbeat.
Good morning to the Heartbeat group. I always enjoy your conversation. This is informative, very enlightening.
Pastor McAllister.
You got one of those conversations going where if a person got to get out of the car, they don't want to get out because they want to hold on to it. Real quickly, I know you got to take a break. You mentioned something, Dr. GODBOLT, I think, because you mentioned that America don't really realize as much. But yes, the ones that's really at the root hem of controlling what's going on is the evangelicals. And I'll go ahead and put a title to it, most of the white evangelicals. And one of the ones that really realized this, I'm told it wasn't well published, but the current regime leader had pulled in most of those evangelicals, had a meeting with them, and asked them what do they want in order to get their votes. And they told them what they wanted, and he promised them they would get what they wanted in return, that they will, from the pulpit, promote him and get him to vote. And it happened just that way. Evangelicals have a lot to do, and that's why politicians court the churches so much when it's election time, because they realize that many people trust what their leader tells them, their pastor, and they go with that. So the politicians have, if I court just one pastor, I get 100 votes, 200 votes, or whatever the size of that congregation is. So yes, evangelicals really can control the heartbeat of America based on what they say, promote or don't promote. Thank you for your show.
Thank you so much. And that's 70 to 80 million votes in a block, okay? And when you've got only 10 to 15% of Americans voting, and then they don't vote in the real most popular, most important elections, and those are the ones local. I mean, we're going to be affected. Yeah, the things that he's doing up there are major, and we can see that. But we have got to recognize that if we don't be aware who the judges are, who we're putting in office in these other positions, because we've seen judges who look at a person when you come in that door, and because your skin is one color or the other, they make decisions based on that. Yeah. And we got to be aware of those things and start paying attention to it step by step. Hey, look, if I don't stop, they're going to cut me off and don't want me to come back next week. Oh, so we're going to take a break. We'll be back. This is Heartbeat.
Oh, boy.
Winter storm warning goes into effect this afternoon ahead of a snowstorm in the state. Governor Josh Stein declared a state of emergency, urging North Carolinians to prepare for accumulating snow, high winds, bitter cold, and the possibility of some power outages. Meanwhile, the governor says that crews who work on the roads worked long hours last weekend, and they're ready to tackle this one. NCDOT Public Information Officer Kim Diener says the expectation of snow and not ice will make it easier to clear roads and faster. The push continues for Congress to avoid a partial government shutdown by passing a funding bill by tonight's midnight deadline. Former CNN anchor Don Lemon was arrested last night in California in a federal criminal case stemming from a protest at a Minnesota church. Lemon was filming as part of his own program. Lemon went into a church, as protesters did, calling out a pastor for helping ICE. Mike Rayleigh, NCN News.
I'm Jamie Monticelli, WIDU Radio News. Community members, grassroots groups, and nonprofits interested in applying for the Empowering Community Safety Micro Grants are encouraged to register for 2 upcoming virtual workshops hosted by the city's Economic and Community Development Department. If you missed the pre-application workshops, that's okay. You can still apply. Applications are being accepted until January 31st. Again, that deadline is tomorrow. To apply, visit FayettevilleNC.gov/ECD. Cumberland County says agencies from across North Carolina gathered at the Cumberland County Department of Social Services on January 22nd for a human trafficking awareness and response training. That session was led by the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of North Carolina and Cumberland County Communicare, with support from the Department of Social Services, One More Child, and Worth Court. The training offered staff and partner agencies practical tools to better identify, support, and protect survivors. From WIDU Radio, I'm Jamie Menace.
A winter storm warning is in place for the weekend as we have a good chance to see snow across the area. It will also be dangerously cold at times, especially into Sunday morning. That snow finally wraps up earlier in the day on Sunday. Partly cloudy skies this morning with temperatures starting at around 20 degrees. A small snow chance starting late in the day, otherwise cold with more cloud cover. Will reach the upper 30s. Then snow is likely after midnight. Will drop to around 20. For the North Carolina News Network, I'm meteorologist Grant Skinner in the Weather Center.
Bless the Lord. I'm Dr. Ann T. Newell, pastor of the Soul Harvest Apostolic Church, the church not just there in the community, but there for the community of Spring Lake, North Carolina. We're looking for more than a few good men and women to join the team. Iron sharpeneth iron. We may have what you need. You may have what we need. Catch the vision. Join the team. Join Wake Up.
Pastor T.C. Leak of Smith Temple Church of God in Christ. We invite you to come and share with us in our services Sunday morning, our Sunday school at 10 o'clock, 11:35, morning worship. We have healing and deliverance every first Sunday night. We invite you to come and share with us in that service, and God will bless you and do you good. God bless you, and heaven smile upon you, is my prayer.
Did you know Medicare fraud is costing us $68 billion a year? The NC Department of Insurance Senior Medical Patrol Program's goal is to reduce Medicare fraud, waste, and abuse. If you suspect any billing or Medicare fraud issues, we're here to help. Contact SMP today at ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
This is Dr. Lillian H. Spearman, pastor of Second Chance Christian Fellowship Church. You're listening to Wake Up.
This is Sarah Alford, and I am the pastor of Joy Fellowship Outreach Ministry, located at 18336 Highway 87 West, Tar Heel, North Carolina. And I am excited to be a part of Wake Up.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Get down, stop.
And when you thought it couldn't get any better, it does. Welcome back to Heartbeat Flight 2026. I'm still John Godbolt.
I'm Ron Godbolt.
And I'm still Tony Billingsley.
Again, we're grateful to have you with us. And if you're still online and want to talk with us, we'd love to hear your conversation as we are here at 910-483-6111. Talk with you as well. We're going to give you a did you know and a health tip before we go any further. So let's get started. Okay, did you know, do you know, have you ever heard the name Gladys West? Well, Gladys West, she passed this past January 17th of this month. As a matter of fact, 2 days after Dr. King's birthday, she was 95 years old, lived in Fredericksburg, Virginia. However, if you have a GPS system, if you know anything about GPS, if you can get on your phone and get from one point to the other, you need to think Gladys West, a black woman who worked on the Global Position System, that's what GPS stands for, in the Naval Service Warfare Center for 42 years. She was a mathematician personified. So she lived from 1930 to 2026, a gift to us.
Thank you, Miss Gladys West.
That's awesome. Did you know that people are allergic to cats, but they also allergic to you. It's pretty uncommon due to the fact that we bathe ourselves more often than other species and don't shed as much hair or dead skin, but yes, it can happen.
Yeah, you can be allergic to another human being.
No,
the animal is allergic to us.
you. In other words, you're making the cat so uncomfortable.
I was going to say, I was going to say, wait a minute. Okay. Who am I allergic to? I start sneezing around.
If your cat sneezes, that means you are bad for that cat. You need to give that to somebody else.
Okay.
Did you know that ants only rest about 8 minutes in a 12-hour period? And they are so well organized and designed that during this period of rest, they do it as a colony or as a group. So they all rest at the same time for that 8 minutes in a 12-hour period.
8 minutes and 12 hours.
Without a leader, how they can just keep things going. It's amazing, isn't it?
It's amazing.
And they work at night too, because when a mound is cleared in my yard, first thing in the morning I look up, it's back up. So
so that 8 minute rest, they finish the 8 minute rest. They're back to work.
They're back to work.
Yeah, the writer of the Proverbs was correct. Consider the ant and the coney.
That's it. What you got on your health tip? Can you start us off?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Health tip. We already know this, but let's try to do it.
Okay.
Just one serving of leafy greens a day was associated with slower cognitive decline, according to a 2017 study by Rush University Medical Center. It showed that it helped to decline dementia and Alzheimer's. One serving a day of leafy green. So eat a salad.
Eat a good salad, yeah. And we also found out that exercise work with that too. If you eat your salads, eat your greens, and exercise, and do some new games, board games, puzzles, and crossword puzzles, that'll help you. Okay, what you got?
Mine's kind of close to that. Enjoy a daily play snack. Remember what you used to do when you was a child? Go back and do that again, like a yo-yo or Rubik's Cube or skip rope, swing a golf club, build a tower with a toy building block. And this is another draw with colored markers. Inject fun in 5 to 10 minute chunks during your day as a way to let your brain relax.
Okay, so it's still good for me to play with toys.
That's right.
I was thinking when we were kids, you and I, and I'm going to call some names, Pastor Dennis Williams, Pastor Ford, not Tommy Ford, but Pastor Anthony Ford. We all would build us a fort in the pine trees, in the woods, in the pine trees, and build us a fort. Yeah. Bring some trees down and make them our horses. So we need to go back to. Never mind.
I'm telling you what, you have a colored, get a
coloring book.
Oh, it's so relaxing.
Yes.
Color.
And you get the right sound in there. I've done it with a group and started coloring. Don't bother me. I'm enjoying it. Enjoying it.
It's relaxing. I got the materials, but I haven't started yet. I'm trying to learn how to paint in watercolor and acrylics.
Okay. Yeah, that's
get your music there too. Now.
Get my music?
Yeah, get your music while you're doing that. Man, you'll be so relaxed.
Yeah, be relaxed.
I got to give you my health tip. There are 10 germ-infested areas that you touch every day, according to experts, you need to pay attention to. Your kitchen faucet, your garbage disposal, a dish towel, your computer keyboard, your cell phone. Hey, get this, your welcome mat, your vacuum cleaner, your car dash, your soap dispenser, and shopping carts. These things, you touch them daily. So especially when you go shopping or you pick up that phone, and some people take their phones in the bathrooms, on the phone in the bathroom. Okay, enough said.
Too much, ain't it?
TMI, too much information. So let's be aware of making sure your hands are sanitized, washed, and when you're using keyboards and phones, and even the welcome mat. When you step up on that mat and you're either bringing something in or leaving something there for someone else to bring in. So keep that in mind, okay? Just a little food for thought. That's not good to say behind that, but it is.
I thought you were going to say money, because money used to be one of the top ones, you know, passing money back and forth and around.
Oh, yeah.
But people don't do money as much now. That's it.
You remember we used to go in restaurants and they would have the toothpicks and the candies.
Oh, yeah.
The candies, and
yes.
people pick up the candies. They did a study on those candies, and they found human feces.
Oh, my God.
Even in the wrapped candies on the packages, because people don't wash their hands when they go to the restroom. So just want to give you food for thought.
Food for thought.
Okay, let's talk about extraordinary stories of near-death experiences. I found this interesting personally, guys. About first, I'm thinking that everybody who had one was going to say, wow, they drew near to God and things got better for them. But it was a range of different emotions of people when they started dealing with this, negative ones as well. And often some people became more loving and more caring, and some changed even their careers. But it was good to be able to go through that. So talk with what you got there, Captain.
Yeah, and the experiences varied.
Yeah.
From people seeing a bright light and walking through a tunnel, to people who made statements that they actually felt like they saw Jesus, and it had profound changes in their life. I was looking at some of the things, as you said. Some people said that it eliminate the fear of death in their lives. And they had a shift in their values and priorities. Their work seemed to become more purposeful, and they had a heightened appreciation of life. And then, as you say, there's a litany of negative things that they had. I found that very interesting. That was awesome to research.
You know, one of my favorite ones, and this is very true, friends of ours from England, they talk about their daddy, and he was man of God, and he said to them, when I die, I'm gonna leave, and I need y'all to continue the ministry and just go forth. And he said I think he was about to die, and he said when he woke up, he said, I was walking with my Lord in the cool of the day, and everything was going good. And then I heard, Daddy, Daddy, Daddy.
And brought him back.
And he said, now when I go again, do not call my name. Do not. I thought that was so cute, the way he talked about, Daddy, 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 please don't go, Daddy.
There's always, I don't know of, well, actually we know of one, it's the one we're talking about, the son who is now pastoring, who had a near-death experience.
Yeah, he did too.
And by his life being where he was placed, there's things that he was able to do that people didn't know, and he could see himself, but he could not connect with himself. So hearing his story was just giving me goosebumps, because we were, like so many other people around the world, praying for him. So you get a chance to hear those stories.
Yeah.
That one was close to me. Then I read books of young people, older folk, doctors who had that experience. They actually died. Ronald Winans is another story, who I can't remember how he was 40 something, but he eventually died at 48. But he had a massive heart attack. His family prayed and he came back and became the singer that he always was, but even better. So you hear stories like that, and then read about so many others who had experience with Jesus. And that was what was impressive to me, how many of them were most of them were positive.
Yeah.
But to consider those who felt lonely after that, and knowing that they had a craving for going back. Yeah, that was
Yeah. I think it was either you or Reverend Scrivens turned me onto a book years ago. I think it's called Return from Tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it was about a gentleman's experience with near death, and the things that he saw as I read the material. Well, I was pretty much convinced there is an afterlife, and our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ and His Father are quite involved in it.
Yeah. And that's what we have to, we love to, if you have a story, we'd love to hear it. We don't have a lot of time now, but we'd love to hear it sometime about that near-death experience. So, again, the number is 483-6111 if you'd like to call us. Any other points you want to make on that? Because we need to talk about the weather as well today.
As you were saying, many times these people, after this experience, the undercurrents of the experience causes them to feel isolated because they've been through something that is really difficult to put into words. Only their experience is kind of what they remember.
I remember this young, the story I read, and I can't remember the book now. This young boy, he was, I think he was playing baseball or something, and he got hurt. And he, according to the doctor, he didn't really die, but he was unconscious for a period of time. And he got the chance to go to be with Jesus, saw him, talked with him, and he was the one who was able to explain the pictures that we look at. He said, he doesn't look like that.
Yeah.
And they were trying to, someone was artistically trying to draw it. Another little girl saw him as well. And they were able to finally get he said, the eyes are not right. And someone was able to finally draw the eyes correctly to say what Jesus really looked like. He also saw his granddaddy. He never met his grandfather, but his grandfather at that point was younger than his dad was at the day that he died. So he said, I saw my granddad, and he said this to me. He said, what did he look like? He showed him a picture. When he saw the picture in the book that he had at the house, and flipping through, he said, yeah, right here, that's my granddad. And his dad said, he's younger than me. But that's when he saw him in heaven. The age that he was, like we said, at our prime. That's what people look like at their prime.
Yeah. As we close this, scientists are still trying to really understand the phenomena of sleep. And when we're in deep sleep or REM sleep, sometimes we're probably pretty close to life and death and
going on over
into that spiritual realm. Now, I've had some pretty vivid dreams, sometimes in those states.
Man, I can tell you I have. I just love it whenever. I had one about the rapture. We won't go to all these details. I'll be preaching here to me and the crying one. But it's just a beautiful experience when you get that in that realm of sleep, and you know that you connected with something that was beyond time. In the past, it was not, what is it called, a deja vu or something of that magnitude. But you've been there.
Yeah,
you know it's real.
Jacob had a ladder, or saw a ladder.
Yeah. So it's there, it's real. Hey, look, we only got a couple of more minutes, and MP 1, 2, and 3 will be busting through the door shortly to impress you, to mesmerize you, to entertain you, to inform you, all those good things. But we need to talk about you getting ready for this weather. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's not play with this one. We got by last week, and it didn't happen like they said it was going to happen.
We dodged the bullet.
Yeah, so we did. We dodged a big bullet that time. However, we don't want to play with this thing here. It looks like it's going to really come this time, okay?
Yeah.
And not that it didn't come the last time, but this is going to be a lot of snow and a lot of freezing. The weather's going to be really, really cold. So we need you to start making some plans again. For the things that you can be aware of that will make a difference.
Yeah,
okay?
I was listening to WIDU here earlier, and thank for them. They had an awesome program with the emergency people and the county commissioners, getting an update on the storm preparation here in Cumberland County. So we are going to have a event. And the possibility of anywhere, the prognostication and the predictions are anywhere from 3 to possibly 10 inches of snow.
Yeah.
And we gave a list the last week. Make sure you get flashlight, have a way to listen to on radio other than your cell phone because the power might go out. Make sure you have water, non-perishable items. And
medication.
Medication, yeah. Make sure if you get low on your medication, go and get something today. Try to get it so you can go 4 or 5 days, definitely.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna take a while for that snow to melt.
And something both of you say all the time, and we should do this irregardless of the weather. Check on your neighbors.
Please.
Check on your family, especially
Yes.
those mature citizens.
I like that. That's a good word.
Yeah,
That's a good word.
Check on them, see how they're doing, see
Yeah.
if they need anything. They may not be able to get out like
Yeah.
some other people to get things from the store. That if you can drop by and grab a loaf of bread or a carton of milk or something, get it.
Let me tell you this. So yesterday, I went to get me some ice melt, and of course, I had to wait in line, and it was crazy. But I was watching some little people, some very overweight people buying snow shovels, and I said to myself, "This is going to be dangerous." They haven't looked like they could handle very much at all, and you're going to get out there and try to shovel. One of the things you have to be careful about: don't do too much shoveling of snow.
That's right.
You'll be surprised how much stress that puts on your heart and your body. So if you're not used to being outdoors, frostbite, all these things are really serious. And then, of course, if you're not hydrated already and you get out there, trying to move some snow because it looks cute, please be careful, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. I lived in Colorado for a period of time in the military, and had more people reporting to emergency doing snow, from shoveling snow. It's really exerting, and if you don't know what you're doing, you got back issues, coronary issues. The best thing to do is not to shovel.
If you can't get your ice melt out there early, just let the sun have its way.
Let the sun take care of it.
Okay. Listen, we're going to get out of here, I think, and unless you are. Let me say congratulations to the FSU Broncos boys and girls winning back-to-back games Tuesday night, Thursday night. I was there watching them. That last night was a dogfight with the boys. I'm telling you, the last second, and there was 1.7 seconds left on, tipped the ball in, called it off, reviewed it, and found they called it back in. So we won the game 82-80 against Claflin College. Thank you, guys. It was the most exciting game.
Yeah, right now we're looking pretty good. We might have an opportunity to get into the finals of that CIAA.
I hope so, boy. And we need another banner hanging up. I'm counting the banners, looking at the dates. We got to get some more banners up there. But it's been good. And look, we love you guys. Take care of yourselves. We look forward to talking with you next week, and we want you to be here. So don't be shoveling off the snow and getting out there playing in that noise, all the things. Okay, listen. The only thing that evil needs to triumph
is for good men to do nothing.
Bye-bye.